By the way, were you at the 517 Hispanic Heritage thing last night?
Yeah, I was dancing my ass off.
Because I'm pretty sure I seen you sitting on a bench, like over by the food trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I think that's the lady that's coming on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate way too much food and then danced. I had some time to like walk around before the band started.
So was it like salsa dancing? What kind of dancing is that considered?
So the band Bacha Popi, they are multicultural. So like Cuban, Colombian, Puerto Rican. Where's the other guy from? Multicultural, and so they play all sorts of music. They were playing bachata and cumbia and like some like reggaeton, and it was amazing. They were like amazing. I've only ever heard them on Spotify, never live. So yeah,
it was a pretty cool event. It was the first 517 Hispanic Heritage event, right?
Yeah, and it was awesome. They had live dancers that were just like, I'm a dancer, So like it was amazing. The food was phenomenal. Yeah, I love the Hispanic, Latinx culture because they're expressive, and I feel safe to be my expressive self in that community. So,
yeah, I had Adriana on. Was that last week? Yeah, last weekend, and that was really cool. She's a really cool person.
You just had her on?
I just had her on. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, she was the last person to do the podcast.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to her?
No. I've never had a conversation with her. I've like had some small talk, but not.
Okay. Yeah, she's really cool. Extremely friendly and supportive. Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, you said you are into dancing. You like dancing. You have a dancing business, correct?
I do have a dancing business, Ecstatic Dance Lansing. I am the co-founder of Ecstatic Dance Lansing. Evan Carr and John Love and I have teamed up to bring our community of Lansing some ecstatic dance. Ecstatic dance is, there's ecstatic dance communities all over the world. There's like over 150 communities and cities all over the world. And so...
What is ecstatic dancing?
It is freeform movement. So it's like, have you ever heard of trance dance?
No.
Okay. So it's a movement meditation practice or a movement medicine practice where a somatic practice where, you really just get to practice being fully in your body, whatever type of movement feels good to you that day, whether it is full on dancing, shaking your booty, like doing that, or if it's just yoga, or if maybe you sit in the corner and meditate the whole time, whatever you need that day. And you get to practice being seen, being felt, being heard. You get to practice expressing yourself in a community. And it's just like a powerful healing practice. It's a sober community, consent-based. It's supposed to be, we really try to make sure that it is a healing space. And the music's phenomenal. Like, if you like world music and, it's good stuff.
So how did that come to be? I mean, how did you get involved in this? And what made you, how did you get so interested in it, I guess?
Yeah. So I have ecstatically danced in different cities around the world. And then I moved back to Michigan, back to Lansing. I'm from Lansing, right before the pandemic hit. And, didn't know what to do, didn't, have any idea of the community I was going to find. I was moving from New York, from Costa Rica. I had been living in Costa Rica for 3 years at that point.
And you moved back to Lansing?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was divinely inspired. So I had been getting hits from spirit. I'm a very spiritual person, very intuitive and empathic and psychic. And I had been receiving messages from spirit for several months and about moving back home, and I wasn't exactly sure why, and I ignored. I thought that maybe it was just because like my grandma was getting old and my mom was going to need some help, or, but I was just like, my mom would call me home if I needed to come home. I'm in Costa Rica. I'm not going back to Lansing. And I hadn't been back in Lansing in about a decade at that point.
Oh, wow.
So, and then my apartment got broken into and I was attacked. And so like that was, yeah. And
what was the purpose for that? Were somebody wanting to like purposely attack you, or?
Yeah, I lived in Siquires, Costa Rica, which is a pretty small community. I was like the only Western white woman in that community, and somebody who had bad intentions found out where I lived, and I think they just assumed I'd have money or a laptop and like that kind of stuff, and I don't think they thought I was home, so
Okay.
I don't think they intended for it to like turn into drama and, but it did. And, I went to the cops, and then the woman whose room I was renting from, Doña Lydia, who is like near and dear to my heart forever. She is like a mother figure to me. She was just like, you're not going to be safe here anymore. They know where you're at. They're going to find, retribution. And I was like, oh, it is time for me to go home then, And so I went home. I came home, and I spent a lot of time with the land because the pandemic hit and everything closed. And I received a lot of messages that...
You mean at the land?
The land in Lansing. The land that sings. We are so blessed to have like so many incredible parks within 5 miles.
There's
and
so many.
So many. I was actually at Woldemar. And I got a hit that I was going to be meeting somebody that was going to help me help me rise the conscious community here in Lansing. And I met Evan Carr pretty shortly after that, and he was like, I'm trying to build an ecstatic dance community. Want to help? And I was like, yep. And that is that story.
Wow. So have you always been spiritual? Is this something that you've always kind of been involved in, or like how did you get involved in? Where did those interests take off? How did you get involved in that?
Yeah, I've always been spiritual. I've always, believed in the universe, in the powers of the universe. I've always believed in a higher power,
Like a god.
Like God, exactly. God, the word God is still, there's still a little bit of like, in,
Yeah.
but I'm getting more comfortable with God actually. And the only reason I get a little like with it is just because, I was also influenced by, Christianity and Judeo-Christian, religions whose teachings and whose leadership in some of those communities that I was in did not make me feel like I was welcome to really commune with God and be connected to God, because
there's like a certain way you have to be in order, like if you want God to accept who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up in church.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really spiritual. I mean, like I believe that there's a higher power. There's got to be something, right? But I'm not like religious.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm religious either. I very much so honor the connection to Mother Earth. I honor that we are in fact nature. I honor that we are all connected. We all come from the same source, energy, God.
So you believe God is like an energy?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like within us, or just in everything?
Within us. Yeah. Within everything. Within absolutely everything, the entire universe. And, that God consciousness is something that I teach. I teach how to come into alignment with that, how to recognize your egoic voice versus that divine voice within, that higher self. I call it the inner goddess. But higher self, inner divine essence, inner spirit. And we all we all know what I'm talking about right now. We've all experienced that like devil and angel on our shoulders, that ego that's telling us like, this person's judging you. You know, this person, these people don't like you. You should seek revenge. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you're not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You shouldn't ask. You don't have needs. Don't, you know, state your needs. You're unsafe in this world. This world's not supportive of you. Like, these people are bad because they voted for this person. You know, these people are bad because of this religion. That egoic voice that is constantly trying to convince us that we are separate. And then there's that higher self voice, that God consciousness, goddess consciousness, that is constantly reminding us to come from love rather than fear, and is constantly reminding us that we are all one. We truly, truly are all connected. And this like physical separation that we sense with our human senses is just an illusion. It's just a projection. It's a movie.
Yeah, and it's what us humans do to each other.
Exactly.
It's what,
because of that separatist consciousness, because of that divisive consciousness.
It's so addicting though, right? Like for humans to pick a side and choose that they're the enemy and I'm right, they're wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I believe that consciousness, that war consciousness, that divisive consciousness served us. It served humanity in our evolution. But it is literally the health of our planet, of our home, of our mother is dependent on us raising our consciousness, right? Moving into a higher consciousness, evolving. It's time for us to evolve. And we are. There's like, I've experienced it in personally, but I've also, I see it in my clients here in Lansing. I see it in the Lansing community, and I see it all across the world. I work with people all over, and I've traveled all over, and like, we are evolving. We are awakening. There is a mass awakening happening, and I truly believe it is because we are connected to Mother Earth. We are literally a microcosm of her. And she is like, all right, everybody.
So being connected to Mother Earth, what do you mean in that aspect? Because I feel like more than ever, people are disconnected.
I know. And I think that's purposeful. But that's like a whole different conversation.
Is it purposeful or is it innovation that does it? Because, I mean, we look at everybody has a cell phone. Everybody's addicted to their phones, including me. But people spend most of their time focused on this technology, whereas they're not as focused on like the outdoors and being outside and being connected with their environment.
Yeah. I love the positive, the optimistic, route of innovation. I love that. Like, absolutely. These things have supported us. Sacred technology. Yeah. I have, really kind of done my own work with technology and like social media and stuff. Like I used to be super judgmental and like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I've had to like reprogram my own beliefs around that and get over my ego and like,
Well, it's a good tool, right?
It's an amazing
if
tool.
You have like a message you want to get out there, then it's a tool that everybody should use. And you got to just learn how to manage it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're on there and you're just sharing things that are divisive, things that, are going to cause problems or get people upset, then obviously you're on there for the wrong reasons. But if you're on there to promote yourself or to spread positivity or inspiration, motivation, or just catch up on family, like obviously those are positive things.
Sure. Absolutely.
Most people don't use it like that though.
I don't know. I have set very, very, very firm boundaries with my social media. I do not see anything. I am very careful about my diet in everything.
I like that word. That's a good idea. That's a good way to put that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Diet is not just food and what we drink. It's not what we eat. It is everything we consume.
So how do you manage that then?
Well, it's gotten to a point now where I truly believe a big part of my spirituality is as within, so without. So all of the internal work that we do, everything that we are, our belief systems, our subconscious beliefs, our how open our bodies are, how much trauma we've actually released from our organs, our lymphatic system, our cells. You know, who we are within is reflected in our external reality. We literally create our external reality based on who we are and the internal work that we've done.
Right.
And so my social media has just kind of I have done like big purges and cleanses of like block, you know, like, no, I don't want to see this. I don't need to hear your negativity anymore. But now it's just my social media, who I follow, what I see, who follows me, who comments, you know, the type of energy I receive is very clearly a reflection of like all of the like internal work I've done.
And that's the good thing about algorithms too, because like the things that you like, the things that you typically share or follow, eventually your algorithm picks up on that and it starts showing you those things more often. Like I'm always posting like motivational videos, like David Goggins or something. And then so now that's all I see. I don't see any of these negative videos really. It's kind of awesome.
It's magical. Yeah, sacred technology.
Yeah, sacred technology. But yeah, I think like we said, it's a healthy balance. And I think, you know, if you can get yourself out of the cycle of being able to like get out of all the negativity or the negative stuff and then focus on more positive things, then eventually that's what you'll see.
100%. And, you know, the thing is, and I have learned this over time, there are people who they still need to see negative stuff. There is lessons they need to learn. They still need to be triggered. They still need to be in that consciousness. They still have things to learn. They have, you know, spaces within that need to be illuminated by all the bullshit.
You can swear.
Okay. You know, by all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I understand why some people are still drawn to the drama and drawn to the chaos and drawn to the division. Like they're just learning. They're learning. And
one thing that I've realized too with social media is that when I have that desire to comment on somebody's post, something I don't necessarily agree with, or something that like I want to like argue, I'm like, oh, I know they're wrong because of this. Usually it's because there's a lack, like I'm lacking something. Or let's say if somebody posts something, like let's say it's another podcaster or something, like somebody, a friend of mine, let's say they've been putting out some awesome episodes, but then I know I haven't been. And so like I get this little jealousy built up. That's a lack of motivation, inspiration. That's a lack of me pursuing my goals and my dreams. It's me lacking something. And so I've learned that, well, why am I feeling this way? I need to go do something about it.
Come on, David. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I love that you use those triggers, that trigger of jealousy, that trigger of like unworthiness or, you know, lacking within to inspire you.
It's
to like
self-reflection too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why am I feeling this way?
Absolutely. And you are hitting on a big teaching of mine, something that I am really passionate about helping people come to awareness with, is that we are all mirrors for each other. We're all mirrors for each other. So the things that somebody triggers within you, the things that somebody like inspires, like, you know, whatever those types of feelings, you get to use those as like, okay, I'm judging this person because I'm still judging that within myself. You know, I'm
something that you're not proud of yourself because you're not doing what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Or like, you know, if you're judging exactly what you said, like if you're judging somebody for like putting out more podcasts and like getting, you know, these types of people for their podcasts, and you're like, oh, you know, it's because there is a part of you that still maybe doesn't feel necessarily worthy enough to.
One thing for me, like in that position, I don't feel worthy enough because I'm not doing the work. And I know that it's me. So like if I take a break or something, you know, like if I decide I want to take a couple weeks off and then I start seeing all these episodes that are being put out by somebody, you know, else, I'm like, man, like, I wish I could have some good guests like that.
Mm.
Well, I could if I put the work in.
Mm.
But why am I not putting the work in? Because I decided to take a break. So let's get back at it. And once you get back at it, then you start building that self-confidence. You start having that good feeling about yourself again.
Yes.
You just got to do the work.
Absolutely. But also in relation to the fact that we are nature, we are Mother Earth herself, those cycles of rest are so important.
Yes.
They are so unbelievably important. You know, like we're moving into fall. The fall equinox was yesterday. And so we're moving into the yin seasons, the seasons of the moon, you know, the darker months, the rest, right? And we all have those internal seasons as well. We all have our own personal cycles. They typically do correspond to Mother Earth herself, but we also kind of go through our own as well. And so those cycles of rest are just like so important to honor. And we as a culture do not honor those cycles yet as we should.
Well, I think it's because of the ever increasing, like, fast paced world that we live in today. Like you always constantly have to be doing something.
We think that's the reality we've created.
I think
we
that's
don't
society.
Have to
I think that's the way society is, though. It's kind of like the way society projects things.
Yeah, that collective consciousness of go, 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 go. I call it's the wounded masculine consciousness, which has been, you know, prevalent in our society for a couple thousand years now. Of this like create, 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 go, 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 take, 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 consume, 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 right? Own, own, own. And we're killing our planet, and we're killing ourselves, and we're killing each other. So it is time to slow down, get back to our natural rhythms, our natural cycles.
Have you talked to Erin Meadows?
She's one of my closest sisters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She's been on the podcast a couple times.
I know. Hers, I listened. It was powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving her that space to...
Yeah. Erin's awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I love that lady.
Yeah.
And her muffins are awesome.
Sure. Food, Abundance Cafe. Go order Abundance Cafe right now, everybody.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite restaurants. Or... kind of restaurants.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now, do you do this full time? Do you do this stuff full time?
Yes, I was the director of the Michigan Women's Historical Center and Hall of Fame. And then I quit that job in April of 2022. So it's been over a year now, a year and a half about on my own, doing my thing as a spiritual entrepreneur. My business is Goddess Goals LLC.
And how was that taken off?
It is at the pace that I need it to be. There is still that part of me within that's like, I need more clients. I need more money. I'm ready to buy my own house. I need all of these things. Why am I not like fully, wildly successful yet?
Right.
But my nervous system would not be able to handle any more than what I am being given at any given, point in time. And I have also done a lot of work around healing my relationship with money and scarcity mentality and all of these things. And I decided, right when I quit my job and went full-time into my business, I decided that I would always have what I needed. I would always have exactly what I needed. Not any more, not any less. I would learn how to live simply, and I would always have what I needed. I would always have enough money to buy healthy foods and, pay my bills. And I did that reprogramming, that subconscious reprogramming work to make sure I believed that before I went full-time. And I have always had what I needed. It is wild. And there's, of course, been a few months in this past year and a half where I'm like, am I going to be able to pay rent? But I'm also blessed to have like really supportive people in my life who are just are just there if I need some support in any way. And yeah.
Do you find that it's harder to find to get guests to get clients? I guess it's kind of the same thing, right?
Sure.
To get clients during this this height of inflation and the economy just kind of being rough for everybody. Do you find it difficult for people to want to pay for a service like that isn't like I guess a necessity for a lot of people during this type of economy?
So that I love that question. I do not pay attention to the system. I have actively detached, and am actively detaching from the economic powers that be and the rules that they say exist and whatever's happening. And I am truly, and this is kind of one of those things that receives a lot of judgment and a lot of like, she's a little crazy. But I am actively creating my own reality and making my own rules. And the clients that come to me have never had a problem, paying my prices and the clients that have come to me see it as a necessity. I mean, it's healing, it's therapy. And I believe that therapy, all the forms of therapy, whatever form of therapy works best for you is a necessity. It is a necessity. And as I'm a somatic therapist, I'm body-based. So, which is just slowly starting to, kind of make headway and become a little bit more understood and popular in the Midwest. It's in other places of the world, it's really understood as a powerful healing practice. But so the reality that I've created, the clients that come to see me, the people that resonate with me, they are happy to pay my prices, and they're happy to
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure.
And that's like, I think one of everybody's biggest fears, right? Like during this time, especially like as a newer business owner, like it's got to be a little bit terrifying to take that leap to want to like fully invest into this. And then knowing like how society is right now, it's like, is people going to come? Are they going to come and use me, like use my services? Like it's got to be scary.
Absolutely. And I do battle, I'm not like fully detached. I am very much in this world. I know that the economy is, all of those, the fear-based economic kind of ideas that pop around. I know that those are important to a lot of people. They are important to some of my clients. And so I know that they too are kind of working through their own, like, should I be paying this much money for, something? But something that's not food, water, shelter, basics. But yeah, it's, but yeah, it was terrifying. It is still terrifying. I am not like, fully radically trusting in the unfolding of my journey quite yet. I'm on that track, but,
right.
I still get scared. I'll be really, really honest. One of the biggest reasons that I felt so confident in quitting my job and taking that big leap was because I had a partner that was like supportive of me, and he was, if he needed to pay more of the rent that month, he would. And just this summer, that relationship ended. And so this summer has been a huge expansion for me, a huge growth period for me. Lots of fears I've been facing, like, oh, am I going to be able to pay my rent, all of the rent, everything, Yeah. Am I going to be able to do this? Should I get another job? Should I go back to teaching? All of those thoughts. And every time I have one of those thoughts and almost act like I've Googled, Lansing Public School, looking at the job postings and everything. And every time I do, I feel physically sick. my body's like, no, 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 no. And I get this overwhelming sense, this message, these messages that say, do you trust me? Do you trust? You know, hold on, girl. Like, just hold on and keep loving where you are afraid. Keep choosing love over fear. Keep choosing your deep desire to create a better world over scarcity mentality, lack mentality, failure, like all of these fears of judgment, fears of rejection, fear of, you know.
Those are crippling too.
Oh,
I mean, those hinder your business when you feel that way.
totally. I've gone through cycles where I just
Yeah.
like give in to it and, you know, I don't get any bookings. You know, it's, yeah.
Now when somebody signs up for your services, what does that look like? What can they sign up for?
Ooh, that's a great question. Thank you. So I would say bread and butter is I'm a womb priestess. And so I do womb clearings. And you know, this is where I have been trained and educated in the idea that we hold, especially as women with wombs, we hold trauma in our uterus, in our ovaries, in our fallopian tubes, in our vaginal canals, like in our adrenals, in between our hips. We hold trauma from this life as well as ancestral trauma, our mothers, our grandmothers, et cetera, et cetera. We hold it here. And this can manifest as PCOS, endometriosis, painful periods, infertility, rage and anger, you know, insane PMS symptoms, like just off the charts, emotional, bipolar, you know, all of these types of things that that have been normalized for women. Just like, oh yeah, I am debilitated, you know, before and during my menstruation, and it's just normal. And it's like, no. This is not normal. Do not let the world make you think that that is normal. That is absolutely not normal. And so womb clearings are an energetic as well as physical womb massage, as well as a shamanic journey, hypnotherapy. It's a combination of like all of my skills, all of my techniques and tools that help you to cleanse and clear all of the bullshit that we hold in our womb space. And I have seen results such as like somebody who has not gotten a period for months and months and months has a bleed. I've seen women
During?
I don't think anybody's actually bled on the table, but but within days.
Wow.
Within days. I have several clients who have dealt with infertility, pregnant. I have had several clients who have released unbelievable deep anger towards their father. And it's just, they see it, they feel it, they have compassion for him. They, you know, and that's just like, the father is just one example. The mother wound is a big one I heal too on my table.
So do they have to tell you like what their issues? What is the process like?
Absolutely. So I ask them to come in with an intention. You know, my intention is to release anger towards my mother. My intention is to get pregnant. My intention is to have more easeful and less painful periods, whatever their intention is. Heal endometriosis, right? Get rid of these cysts. I want to heal these fibroids without surgery. I'd rather do it holistically. And so whatever their intention is, you know, they come in with that. We talk about it. They share it. And then I give them a little bit of history, her story about the practice, the womb clearing practice, the lineage in which I have been initiated as a priestess. And then it is I have a massage table, and we just go from there. And it's all intuitive, the whole practice. I like open the ceremony. I have a couple of things that like ritualistically that I implement in each and every single session, but the actual journey, where I'm massaging, what words I'm speaking, what guides come through, what messages come through, what type of energy we're releasing, what type of energy we're calling in. It is all intuitively guided by me as well as the client. It's a co-creative process.
How did you learn that?
I studied. I studied with the JFL Academy, and I was initiated within the Rose lineage. This lineage goes back all the way to the temples of Isis in Egypt. And these practices have been carried and kept alive by many indigenous communities around the world. So I, as a Western white woman, really like to make sure that I give thanks and honor the indigenous communities in which have kept these practices alive. I personally was initiated through a Hawaiian lineage. But there's also a really wonderful woman, Dr. Andrea Hurst, in the Lansing area. She is an Arvigo specialist, a Mayan womb massage, and that is from the Mayan culture, so Peru, mainly Peru, but and there's just these communities all over the world, these indigenous communities that are keeping these shamanic, energetic, spiritual based clearing and cleansing practices alive, and are so graciously welcoming in Western women into their temples.
Do you do anything with men?
So, so I have had a very long healing journey with my relationship to the masculine. I am a survivor of sexual assault and abuse, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and I am so unbelievably blessed in these past couple of years to have met men, John, Evan, Badger. I mean, there's quite a few men that I could name. You are. I've tapped into your energy. I would not be here if I hadn't already tapped in and felt that you were safe. And there are so many men in our community that are rising up into this energy, this higher conscious energy of wanting to create safe spaces for women. And I've found them, or they've found me, and it's been such an amazing part of my healing journey. And I've just recently opened my movement medicine and magic classes to men. I've had a few that have come through, and that's been awesome. But I have not yet worked one-on-one privately with a man. And I'm nervous about that. I am open.
So if you work one-on-one or privately with a man, because you just explained what the womb clearing was like, what kind of things would you do on a man that, where did they keep a lot of in their heart?
Heart clearings. That is something I'm really passionate about, working with men, helping men to unguard their hearts, open up. And also, and eventually, I would like to move down to their womb. It's called the hara. So, you don't obviously have the actual like physical organs of a reproductive female system, but you still have an energetic space that is really powerful. It's called the hara. And men hold a lot of sexual trauma and fear. Our community, our world, our society has projected a lot of bullshit onto our men. And I think men have become really afraid of their own sexuality, really afraid to be sexual beings. Because they don't trust themselves, because they've been taught by our society that they're bad and they're wrong and they're deviant and of course that has been a huge part of our history. But not all men share that, have that. It's not a one size fits all. And sexual energy is creative energy. And so men, who are suppressed in that way, they are unable to help us create a better world, and so, and also that suppressed sexual energy gets manifested as rage and anger and violence and weird shit, incels on the internet, and violence
Right.
against women. It actually, that suppression of that sexual energy actually manifests into what we are trying to protect ourselves from. So that's like a whole nother thing, but it's something that I have become more and more passionate about. We need to come together. We need to team up, support each other in creating a better world for the next generation, and we need our men.
So what other services do you offer?
I'm a somatic therapist. So if you're like just wanting a little bit less woo woo, I help you process trapped emotions, repressed memories through.
What is that process like?
So somatic therapy is the combination of breath, sound, movement, and intention. And if God has given you the grace to have all of those abilities to breathe, to move, and to make sound, and to set intentions, then you can heal. We have everything within us to heal ourselves from whatever it is you need to heal yourself from. We have everything within us to create the life we want to live. We are the entire universe in a microcosm form. So, so let's say a client comes in with the intention of like, I need to set boundaries with my boss, and I'm afraid and I don't know how. And I have a process of somatically mapping our body, figuring out where in your body you are holding that fear of setting boundaries, stating your needs, speaking up for yourself. And through breath, sound, and movement, and the intention, of course, we release that fear. We get that energy out. Emotions are just energy in motion. So that emotion of fear, we just move it out, sound it out, really just get it out. And then we replace that. We use that energy that we just stirred up, swirled up, and spat out. We use it. We recycle it as confidence, as knowing that if I state my needs and I get the salary I deserve, or I get the time off I deserve, or I take care of myself, then I am in a better position to take care of my community, And once we reprogram that belief within that space that was once blocked with fear.
How do you reprogram that? Is it with like affirmations?
Absolutely. Mantra work is big. Certain breath works really help our subconscious mind trust that our body can hold that, and that we can actually act on that. It's a lot of brainwashing. To put it honestly, we're just reprogramming that subconscious mind.
So it's just changing the way you think.
Exactly. Changing your beliefs. Yep.
How often would you have to do that? Or can you do it in one session?
I've had some miraculous sessions for sure, but just like talk therapy, just like any sort of like healing modality, it's a practice.
So it's something that you teach, and then people can continue doing at home?
Absolutely. You could absolutely implement your own somatic healing practice. I encourage that. I will give you, I send you home with I don't send you home with it. I create it and send it to you afterwards, an aftercare protocol. So I'm like, do this breath work and say this mantra and do this little tapping and this movement and do this set your timer for 5 minutes every morning. I'll see you in 6 months. Let's see where you're at, and
That's the thing about having, like, you tell them to do it in the mornings.
Morning.
Yeah, mornings are important, because that's one thing I realize. I developed a morning routine last year, and I actually haven't done it in a while, but I noticed a
Come on, David.
significant, I know, right? I noticed a significant benefit when I wake up early. And this is what I was doing. I would go for a run, like a 3 mile run. I'd come home, do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 body weight squats, and then like a 3-minute plank. And so I got like all the physical like angst out first thing in the morning. And then from there, I would journal about like my goals, things I wanted to do for the day, business goals, whatever it was. And then I would read for 10 to 15 minutes. And then I would get ready and go to work. But like doing that every single morning only took an hour to do all that. Just 1 hour.
Yeah.
And that's not that much time. Just wake up an hour earlier, get all that done, get ready and go to work. But like it had this significant benefit for me, like in my mind. It like reprogrammed like my goals, my desire, things I've wanted to do for the day. It made me extremely more successful.
Absolutely. It's magic. It's it really is so important. And I also have compassion for people who are like an hour, like start small. Start small.
Start with 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And just meditate.
Exactly. Go for a walk.
Right.
Like shake.
Yeah.
Get it out. Get that morning anxiety is something that is a big part of my healing journey as well. I used to experience paralyzing anxiety, paralysis. Especially it's why I like drank and drugged the way I did, because I was trying to escape that. And then once I got sober, it was intense, and I was like, I know why I drank the way I did, like.
Were you an alcoholic?
Oh yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict.
Oh.
Yep.
So what was that process like? How long were you in that cycle?
Yeah. So I was raised by alcoholics. Alcoholism is a huge part of my family history, and it was my childhood. And I started drinking when I was 12.
Whoa.
Yeah. Started drinking seriously when I was 15. And it was off to the races. And I luckily burned out fast, hit rock bottom fast. I got sober at 26. I had a psychotic break. I shaved my head, I like cut all my hair off and checked myself into rehab at 26. That was almost 8 years ago, and I've been sober since. But
wow.
Yeah. Couple of relapses with nicotine. I was a smoker too, and yeah.
That's such a crazy subject. You just like ran right through that. You started drinking when you were 12.
Sorry.
You started drinking when you were 12 and then heavily at 15.
Yeah, I started stealing my mom's beers, Labatt Blues at 12 years old.
Wow. Addiction is it's a crazy thing, because like I've had so many people on that are recovering addicts of whatever. And recently I just had a guy on who's a friend of mine who is an addict, and he just relapsed again. He's in rehab right now. And it's just crazy because like one day you're fine, but then the next you could be completely obliterated. And now you're like this different person heading down a completely different path.
Yes.
And your whole life could just be ruined.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. I see it all the time. I'm still very active in the recovery community. I hope to always be active in the recovery community because that is what keeps me sober. But
by active, what do you mean? Do you like
I go to meetings?
Go to meetings like AA?
Yes.
How often do you do that?
Once a week right now.
Yeah.
And I go to a women's meeting once a week. And early in sobriety, though, I was doing like 3-4 meetings, had sponsor. I don't have a sponsor right now, but I've got other mentors and guides that kind of replace my like AA sponsorship. I have a sponsee. I am a sponsor to somebody in recovery. But yeah, working with other alcoholics and addicts keeps you sober. And so It's really important.
And then I would think that your line of work also probably helps, right?
Absolutely. And naturally, we call in what we are. We like attracts like. A lot of my clients have dealt with substance abuse or addiction.
Right.
Addiction doesn't necessarily have to be to substances. It could be
Pornography.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So many different things. So belief systems. We can be addicted to belief systems, like
We could be addicted to anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Even something good. Something good could be addictive, like working out too much or,
totally.
or anything. Food.
Yes.
I'm addicted to food.
Yeah. But. Yeah. Well, even a lot of people who have history with like eating disorders in their history, they can be addicted to eating so clean that if they do have a piece of cake or like whatever, they like beat themselves up about it. And like that addiction to perfection is so debilitating.
It's real though. I had that. And
with
that's
food
why that's
specifically.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like I would follow a certain diet. And if I broke that diet, I'm like, man, I'm such a piece of shit. Like, but not anymore. Like I'm fine now. Like I don't follow specific diets for that reason because I'm like, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Like if you do like a carnivore diet or if you do like a paleo diet or a keto diet, whatever it is, like, and you can only eat certain things, but you desire to eat like other things, like and you have a cheat day or a cheat meal, you're setting yourself up for failure because then you feel like a failure when you do eat those things. So now I just try to eat as healthy as possible, but still enjoy stuff.
Yes. We're human. We're here to indulge and,
have a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Trust me, if I could still, have a glass of wine or have a glass of whiskey here and there, I would. But
I'm sorry about that, by the way. I have whiskey over there.
It's not at all a thing for me anymore.
Okay.
I promise. We're good. Like I totally would, but it's just zero abstinence with those things is what's best for me. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, if you can't tolerate it, you probably should avoid it. Or if you can't handle like the I can't even talk.
Moderation.
The moderation portion of it, you probably shouldn't indulge in it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's just knowing yourself, right? And like getting really honest with yourself and accepting that about yourself. So
is there a pretty big recovery community in Lansing?
Huge recovery community in Lansing. We are really blessed. There are meetings all day, every day. You could, like truly. And like ecstatic dance, for example, is a really wonderful recovery community as well. It's not specific to people in recovery, but it is, for people who want to have fun and express themselves and dance and be free, have that like kind of that style of life, sober and safe. So
where are those held at, those classes?
So as of right now, second and fourth Sundays, I am coming from ecstatic dance actually.
Okay.
11 a.m. to 12:30 at Luna Center in Bath. We also just added a conscious clubbing experience Friday nights at the Rio Town Marketplace.
What does that look like?
Have you ever been to the Rio Town Marketplace?
No, I don't think so.
It's cool. It's just like a really cool spot. Rio Town in Lansing is just like a really cool spot. And it's amazing music. It's lights.
So it's like a club.
It's a club. We want it to feel like a Friday night. You're going out. You get dressed up. You like go on a date. Go out dancing. But it's sober, and we make sure that it is sober, and it is consent based, and it is intentional, and so you get to have that Friday night going out on the town experience, and you get to be in bed by 10 and wake up without a hangover. So, yeah.
Have you seen or have you paid attention to? There's a local bar. I think it's actually in Jackson. I actually have to reach back out to them because I was trying to get them on the podcast. but it's like a bar where they don't serve alcohol, but it's like all like mixed drinks, but with different
Mocktails.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's called Zero something bar.
Ooh.
Let's see here. I'm going to look it up.
Lansing needs one of those if we don't have one yet. That sounds awesome.
Okay, doesn't want to work.
Down in the basement.
Yeah, I had like a Wi-Fi extender, but it's not working right now. Okay. Here it is. It's on the screen.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's 0% alcohol, 100% of fun.
Oh my God.
It's a mobile service of non-alcoholic beverages. It's the first of its kind in Jackson, Michigan, and surrounding areas. It was founded in August 2022 by two women who believe adults of drinking age deserve exhilarating, healthy choices.
Yes.
We specialize in non-alcoholic alternatives that provide the flavor and experience of an adult beverage without the complications of alcohol. They're lower in calories too.
Yes.
It's like, look at that. It looks like a real drink.
Oh, for sure.
These are the two women that.
Oh my God, I love them. Look at them.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a cool concept.
Yes. All right. Who is listening to this who's gonna start Lansing's first sober bar?
You should do it.
Nah. I'm actually very much so a hermit. So I am an introvert. I need a lot of alone time, and so I have been a bartender, and yeah, nope.
That's kind of funny that you say.
But I like to go. I do have times where I'm like, I want to be out. I want to, socialize. I want to play. I want to dance and have fun and flirt and be silly and
Yeah.
But
I mean, as much as you don't like people, you do need people.
yeah.
I mean, as much as
I like people, David.
Oh, I know. And what I'm saying is, like, as much alone time as you think you need, like, you do need to be around people too.
100%.
That's like the worst thing that you could do to somebody is not have people around them.
Totally. I think that's was one of the hardest parts about the pandemic and everything. I think that was like.
I could have gone a couple more months.
Really?
Yes.
I love your honesty. Totally. I thrived.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, you've also you set yourself up. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. This is awesome.
Well, that was actually part of COVID, the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
We found out we were at work, we were getting a couple months off, and we're like, well, what are we going to do? And we're like, well, we could remodel our basement. So we went out the day that we found out that it was our last day at work. We went to Home Depot, ordered a bunch of stuff, had it delivered. And so we just worked in our basement the whole time.
So cool.
Yeah. And and then everything at the store shut down, like the paint department and everything couldn't get paint. So then we're like, man, what do we do? So we found out that if you order Sherwin-Williams paint, over the phone, you just go online, pick out the color online. They'll mix it up for you and then set it outside and just go and pick it up. We're like, this is awesome.
Perfect.
So yeah, we remodeled our whole basement and didn't really have to leave.
That's amazing. And you guys have done an amazing job. This is beautiful.
Thank you. So yeah, I actually wish I started the podcast during COVID because I would be way more successful, I'm sure. But
you are successful.
Well, thank you.
You are successful. You are a leader in our community, big time. And I know a lot of people look at you that way and see you that way and feel that way about you. And it's just going to expand and expand and expand. And it's going to expand perfectly with your nervous system's capability of holding more and more and more. And I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this community.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I'm glad that you came on to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love talking about real shit, having real conversations.
Yeah, and that's something we don't have much of.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. It is one of the reasons why, like, I am an introvert, because I don't know how to small talk. I'm super, super fucking awkward, and like
That's how I feel most of the time.
yes, when people are like talking about the weather and they're like antsy, they're uncomfortable in their bodies, and you're just like, can we just not talk? Like, let's just, that's like why I love communities like ecstatic dance and movement medicine and all of these like ceremonial spaces where we get to be with each other, but we don't feel forced to
engage.
Yeah, and we are engaging, absolutely, but like with our breath and music and sound, and I love a good song circle.
That's one thing I really liked about like I've never actually done CrossFit, but I've done like I've had a membership at a gym that was called Functional Fitness, and so it was kind of like a CrossFit type of gym, but you're doing these like group workouts together. And so you're all suffering together. You're not really talking. You're sweating. You're like working out like hard. But you have this camaraderie, like this, like we're all equal in what we're doing. We're all going through this struggle together. You're kind of talking here and there, like making jokes or whatever, like this sucks. But at the end of it, you have like this sense of community because we all went through the same thing together. And I don't know, it just helped build this like communal environment.
Yes.
And I would assume it'd probably be the same thing for like the ecstatic dancing and yoga and meditation. Yoga is the same way too.
Totally. These body-based community practices are so unbelievably healing. So it doesn't matter what it is, if it's CrossFit or if it's like even if you're just like working out with the boys, lifting with the boys, and like you all have your own headphones on and everything, you're still with each other, you're supporting each other, like you're there struggling together. It's absolutely.
I just did a marathon a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
And it was what was cool about it was I did it by myself, but I had a couple friends that did the half marathon. And so I wasn't running with them, but towards the end, I had 4 miles left, and I was running with this lady. Don't even know who she was. I was keeping pace with her, though. And I'm like, as long as I can keep up with her, I'm good. And so I just kept pace with her. Towards like, I think 2 miles to go, I just started talking to her. I caught up to like where I was side by side with her, and I were running together. And I just started talking to her. And we built like this, like, I don't know, this like friendship just in that moment. Don't know her name now. Don't even know who she is. But like we were just talking, like, trying to get each other to go through finish this marathon together. And that helped push us like to be able to finish. But then like towards the end, my friends that ran the half marathon joined me, and they ran the rest of the way. And I don't remember where I was going with this, but it was the sense of like community that you had with them that helped push me to continue going. That was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
Yeah. It's like making me emotional. That's where you were going with that. It's just like, just reminding us of the power of community and support and, true connection, real connection.
Surrounding yourself with people that you can have that with.
Yes.
I mean, there are people that will just drag you down. But if you can find the people that are supportive no matter what and are there for you, then that's what matters.
Oh, 100%. It's diet. We are the people we surround ourselves with. Absolutely. We are the people we consume,
Yeah.
We are their energy. We are their belief systems. We are their judgments. We are their projections. We are their bullshit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I don't even know what we've talked about. Honestly, this has been like, we've just been like in a bubble of just like vulnerability and like love and truth. And this has been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love this. Whenever I do a podcast, and it's always like an hour in, I'm like, okay, this is starting to get good. Like,
I don't even know how long it's been. Has it been an hour?
It has. It's been an hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I try to keep them around an hour.
Yeah.
But, it's always like an hour, like right around an hour. I'm like, oh, okay, now we're like comfortable to the point where we can just talk.
Yeah, I know. If we ever do this again, we'll like start with some like partner breath work and like, then we'll just get right into the nitty gritty shit.
Yeah, we could start by filming it. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, we can definitely do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let me know when.
For sure.
Awesome. Do you have a website or anything?
I do. My website is thegoddessgoals.com. And I'm also on Facebook, Goddess Goals LLC. I have a personal Facebook, Meaghan Rosalie, as well. Instagram is Meg_Goddess Goals LLC. I think that is, those are all the ways to connect. I serve my clients out of the White Rose Goddess Temple in East Lansing.
Where's that at?
It is right downtown East Lansing. It is on University Drive. It's like basically right on campus. And it's in a private neighborhood. It's a space in a private residence, and it's really beautiful. And of course, like I'm out of Luna Center as well, Ecstatic Dance, the Rio Town Marketplace. Ecstatic Dance is also going to be moving into People's Church, right downtown East Lansing. And I'm also going to be helping out, supporting Inner Peace Sacred Arts, Alicia Bruce. You should have her on your podcast.
Hook me up.
She's incredible. She just opened a holistic apothecary. So all of these like...
Where's that at?
Hazlitt.
Oh, I know Alicia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met her.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, her fiance is crap, what's his name?
Landon.
Thank you. I work with Landon.
No way.
Yeah.
You work at GM?
I do.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of which, Landon wanted to do the podcast. I got to reach out to him too.
Landon would be an amazing, yeah, for sure. He's got so much cool wisdom and knowledge.
Yeah, Landon's a cool guy. I like him.
Yeah.
And then Alicia's cool too.
Yeah, totally. She's got an incredible story as well, and a lot of wisdom, a lot of inspiration. So, and she's just opening an apothecary at her space, Inner Peace Sacred Arts.
Yeah,
So,
I checked that space out.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's holistic happy hour on Fridays, which is fun. And yeah, so many different spaces. Lansing is expanding, is raising its consciousness. There are so many conscious communities popping up, health-based healing communities, spiritual communities, somatic-based communities where you can connect truly, deeply with people and heal and let your freak flag fly and, just...
Awesome. Well, thanks, Meaghan. Thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again.
Yay, thanks, David.
Awesome. Thank you.